What is going on, YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank you all so much for joining myself and Dustin for this being our review for 90 Day Fiance Season 12. I believe this is episode 7, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah,
before we get
episode 7.
all right, cool beans, cool beans. So
Uh,
before we get started, there's a couple things I want y'all to do before we get started. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big white subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. It takes less than a second to mash that thing. So why don't you go ahead and mash it for a brother? Also, be sure to why am I blinking right now? Be sure to leave a thumbs up for this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content I'm putting out on my channel. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the various couples that we'll be discussing on tonight's show. As I was telling Dustin before we went live, we saw all 7 couples this episode. So it's going to be a jam-packed review, you guys. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but certainly not least, let me put my phone on silent, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. Dustin, you doing all right today?
yeah, we're doing all right. I was scrambling to get here, so I apologize about that. I was scrambling to get here. I was kind of late, but that's okay. Kind of late.
Yeah, it's totally fine. But let's go ahead and get this thing started because this review, like I said, it's going to be jam-packed. We've got all 7 couples to cover. But
Yeah.
3 of the couples really didn't do much, so it'll be quick to get through them. So let's start out with Mito and Debbie. So Mito and
Mm.
Debbie are dealing with the aftermath of their whole blow up. And Debbie, Mito, it seems like Mito is probably at an Airbnb or I don't know. I don't think he's at one of the
He's
producers'
at
house, but he's
Airbnb. He's at Airbnb.
okay. That's what it seemed like to me because he clearly wasn't in the same house as Debbie or the same apartment
Mm-mm.
rather as Debbie.
I think they're
So
pretty much over with, to be honest.
yeah, well, actually, Dustin, my mother told me because my mother's watching the show as well, and she actually found out that Mito and Debbie are currently married, allegedly. Now, I don't
What?
know if
I
that's
didn't
the
know that.
truth. Yeah, I don't know if that's the truth, but it's just a little bit of tea that my mother gave me over the weekend. I personally don't know. I can't say whether I believe it or not because
I don't know. I
rumors.
have to do some digging on that part, but thank you for telling me that.
Right, absolutely. But rumors can be true, some can be not. So, who knows? But anyways, at
Mm.
least on this particular episode, they did not talk whatsoever. Debbie went out, Nito, when he got back to the Airbnb, he said that he was looking for flights to get back to Egypt. And then the next day, the producers were asking him, what do you want to do? He says he wants to go home. In my opinion, I'm assuming that this is not the way that this couple ends, but we'll see as we go along. Debbie goes out to eat with one of her friends, and her friend is asking her, do you really truly believe that Vito is interested in you and wants to be with you? Or is he just here to make his career bigger? And Debbie's response is, I don't know. I don't believe that whatsoever. I'm sure that Debbie knows that Mito was not here for her. I'm sure that Debbie knows the only reason Mito was over here is to have a bigger career. Dustin, what are your thoughts? Do you think that Debbie and Mito will make it? I don't know whether I believe whether they're married or not, but I would still believe that they would break up. What do you think?
I don't think that they. I don't. I'm not gonna say for the process of the show. I don't think they're married right now. Um, I haven't seen anything about that. But I guess if we do some investigation, if we do some investigating, we do find out she's married. My question is, good luck to you. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I could handle him. I don't think I would handle him at all. I don't think I'd be able to handle it.
He is a
He's
lot
too much.
he is a lot to
He
handle, and he does like all the attention to be on him at all times.
yeah. He's a lot to handle in my opinion. So I don't think I would be able to handle that if they are married. If they are married, good luck to you.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Thomas and Paula. So Thomas and Paula, they're going on a hike. But Paula is having some issues because she still needs to unpack. They've only been in Los Angeles for 2 days. She wants them to go to a furniture store so she can buy a dresser for drawers because she wants to be able to put her undergarments and her socks in. And Thomas takes
Right.
out like this little gray box. And Paula is like, I can't fit all my stuff in here. And Thomas really doesn't want to negotiate as to whether they want to get a dresser drawer or not. I don't I agree with Thomas because I don't know where they will be able to fit a dresser drawer in that small little apartment that he has for them. So I understand why he will be hesitant in getting a dresser drawer. But anyways, they go on this hike, and On their way to the hike, he's still having allergic reactions to the perfume that he glued sealed shut. And Paula is really not paying much attention to it. It doesn't seem like Paula really cares about his allergic reaction. She understands that he is allergic to her perfume, but she's not taking it seriously, which is a red flag, at least for me. But when they do get on the hike, he does end up apologizing to her about his reaction. He feels like he might have gone a little bit too far with it, but he says that, when he has a allergic reaction, he doesn't feel like himself. Paula says that she'll try to do better with that or whatever the case might be. Then they get back home. She shows him a rock that she spent $2,500 on, or 250. I think it was maybe 250 or 2,500, whatever the case might be. Thomas is upset that she spent so much money on this inanimate object, this rock that does nothing for her, at least in his mind. And Paula's point of view is that it helps her with her manifestations. She's very spiritual. She likes to collect random things. Paula's sort of kind of difficult to pinpoint as to what is her actual personality or what is it that she actually believes in. She seems like a holistic type of person. I don't know. But Thomas ends up giving her a credit card. And he says that the limit on the credit card is $25,000. He's not going to tell her that's the limit, but I guess he wants to give her the credit card so that she has a means of money while she's here in LA. I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about Paula and Thomas. To be honest, I would want for Thomas to leave Paula because to me, they don't make that much of a good couple if she's not necessarily considering his well-being when she's spraying her perfume that he's allergic to. So I really don't know where to place Paula and Thomas in my ranking on couples of 90 Day Fiance. Dustin, what are your thoughts on Paula and Thomas? Her sort of kind of ignoring the fact that he has an allergic reaction to her perfume, and also the fact that she spends money on inanimate objects that she feels helps her with manifestation.
I don't like Paula, and the
Mm.
reason I don't like her is because I don't think she cares about. I don't think she understands Thomas. I don't understand. I don't quite think she understands how bad it is for him when she goes around and wears perfume that he's allergic to. He apparently he's pretty severely allergic, so I
Hmm.
would I would not be wearing perfume like that, uh, or spraying perfume like that if he's in the house. So I don't think it's gonna work out for that part. Honestly, uh, her spending money, she could spend the. I don't like her spending money, especially if it's his money. They're not married yet, so yes, when you are married, it's different. But when you're not married yet and you're already spending money, it's a red flag in my opinion. But you could at least ask him and if he can have it, before you go ahead and get it. That's just my opinion. But he did give her a credit card, so I guess he asked for it in my opinion. So mhm.
Yeah, if she goes on to spend an enormous amount of money on that credit card, that's all on Thomas because he knows that
Yeah,
he
he gave it
really
to her, so I guess it is on him. So
ex, ex,
mine,
ex,
yeah,
exactly. He understands that she will spend money on things that are frivolous to him that he doesn't think has any meaning to it. And so for him to give her a credit card, whatever damage she does on a credit card, he can only blame himself for that. But let's move on to Shay and Annabelle. So Annabelle has just come back from the meeting that she had with Allison and this alleged other woman that Shay, according to his ex-wife Nicole, had an affair with.
mm,
Um, but the other woman actually told him that there was nothing between her and Shay, that they've never had sex or done anything romantic together whatsoever. So Annabelle is feeling much better about that. Now Shay is asking her, do you forgive me? Are you feeling better? Annabelle is like, yes, I'm feeling much better. I was told the truth, or what she feels is the truth. And so Shay then tells Annabelle that, he wants them to go out and watch a game with some of his friends. Annabelle says that she's really tired. She really doesn't feel like it. She wants to stay home, make him some herbal tea, and have them to do some yoga. This is kind of
yeah,
confusing me because I'm like, okay, so she just got back from getting her nails done. It's clearly nighttime. Why are we doing yoga all of a sudden? Annabelle says that he's gained a little bit of weight since the last time he came to visit her in the Philippines. So she wants him to work on his weight. Um, Yeah, I don't know how much a little bitty session of yoga is going to help him with that, but okay. At least Annabelle is on better terms with Shay. I guess that's a good thing. But that's pretty much all that they did on this episode. They really didn't do much on this episode. I hope that they can work things out. I saw in the preview for the next episode that Allison is going to reveal some things to Annabelle that will probably put them back into a bad space. And I'm definitely not looking forward to seeing that. But Dustin, do you think it seems as though Annabelle did believe what this other woman told her, but it doesn't seem like that good space is going to last. But what are your thoughts overall with Annabelle and
I
Shay?
don't think it's going to last because, like you said, I've seen the previews as well. So I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's. I think it's going to be interesting. This season is almost getting started, so I think this season is going to start heating up, and what happens in the couples is your guess is as good as my guess, Jonathan. I don't try to say what's going to happen because I don't know what's going to happen. But honestly, I hope for the best and hope they figure out things. You know, I don't want to sit here and say that it's going to happen. I'll be interested to see what happens on the next episode. But you know what I mean. I'll figure it out as you and I figure it out both. And as the season goes along, we'll uh, have more to say about the couples. But that's how I think.
Absolutely. So let's move on to Raj and Mallory. So Raj and Mallory didn't do much. Quite a few of these couples didn't do much on this episode. So we're kind of flying through this, and we don't have anyone in the comments. So this is probably might be a quick review. But anyways, so next we have Raj and Mallory. Raj and Mallory are dealing with the aftermath of his whole party. Apparently, Raj, according to Mallory, got white girl
Mm-hmm.
wasted. He asked her what is white girl wasted. She sort of kind of explained it to him. She had him to repeat some words that she said to him. It was a little bit funny. That was cute. Whatever. Anyways, so the topic of Brandon comes up, and Mallory straight up tells Raj that
Yeah, he
because
don't like Brandon.
yeah, he does not like
He doesn't
Brandon,
like.
and
Uh-uh.
I found it interesting that Mallory does not correct Rosh when he calls Brandon Brandy, even though I think it's kind of funny. The joke is getting a little bit stale now. Like it's not as funny as
Yeah, I
it
think
was
it's a
in the
little bit
beginning.
awkward to be honest.
Yeah, it's not awkward to me necessarily. However, I find it interesting that Mallory doesn't try to correct Rosh when he
Hmm.
calls Brandon Brandy. I think
Yeah,
Rosh
I,
just sees it as a joke, and maybe Mallory sees it. I guess Mallory must see it the same way.
well,
So
see what I don't like, Jonathan, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but what I don't like
it's
about it
okay.
is I have a name. So if you're going to talk to me, you can call me out. You can call me by my name. I don't want to be called anything else but Dustin Butler, or call me Dustin. I don't like my last name very much because it reminds me of my dad. So
Yeah.
I don't like my last name. I don't like my So it's just like you can call me by Dustin, but nothing else. But you can call me out. You can call me by my name. And so I want to be. I want to be called. I don't want to be called something else. You know. And that's just me. I don't like to be called something else. It's not my name. That's okay. I don't like. I don't agree with that part. So then when he said that, I didn't agree with that. So it kind of set me off a little bit there.
Some could
Hmm.
see that as disrespect, and I can understand if Brandon were to take that as disrespect, especially with
All
Brandy
right.
being a female's name. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if Raj took that into consideration when he decided to call Brandon Brandy. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess if Mallory doesn't see any issue with it, then I guess it
Mm.
must be okay. And I think she sees it as a joke as well. And
Right.
that's why I think that she's not correcting him when he says it. But
Sure.
anyways, Mallory goes on to tell Rosh that Brandon is a good friend of one of her best friend's husband, and so she's going to be around him. And so she basically told him that she's not going to lose connection or contact with Brandon, and he's just going to have to deal with it. Which I'm so glad that Mallory made that decision because I think because she knows that she has no romantic interest in Brandon, that
Mm-hmm.
Rosh has nothing to worry about. Rosh has nothing to be worried about whatsoever when it comes to Brandon. And hopefully Rosh does not continue this type of storyline throughout the rest of the season.
I think
Although
he's
it
going
doesn't
to.
seem like Rosh and Mallory have any other issues necessarily. So I have a
Mm-hmm.
feeling that this is going to be an ongoing issue for the remainder of the season, and I'm not looking forward to that being
Mm-hmm.
the case. So Do you think they're ever going to get past this, Dustin, or do you think this is going to go on for the rest of the season?
I think it's going to go on for the rest of the season. To be honest, I
That's
hope
what it's.
not, but I hope not. But I'm going to prepare myself for the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all we can do. And that is what it seems like it's going to be. It seems like they're going to be going through this for the
Because I
rest
want
of
to. Because the
the
reason
season.
why and another reason why I say that is because we're already on episode 7, so here we are. We're already getting closer to the middle of the season, but we're getting closer as we go along. But if you're already on episode 7, you know what I mean. If you're still talking about the same thing over and over again, then that's how I feel. That's how I feel like it's going to be like the rest of the season.
That's what it seems like to me as well. Let's move on to Maxwell and Shay, and Aisha, or Aisha. I guess it's Aisha. So Maxwell and Aisha, they're heading to the place, and Aisha actually let us know that they're renting out this house that they're staying in with Maxwell's
Mm-hmm.
parents. So
Mm-hmm.
when I mentioned that, excuse me, when we first saw Maxwell and his parents at this house, I was thinking that, oh, they seem to be well to do. Well, we did not actually see Maxwell's parents' house specifically. So we now know that they are renting out this space for all of the family to be together. But anyways, so they get to the house. Immediately, Aisha calls Maxwell's parents mom and dad,
That's
which,
too quick for me.
yeah, it was quite quick for me as well, Dustin. That came off a little cringy for me.
Cringy.
Maybe
That
that's
was way
just
too cringy for me.
maybe
That
that's
was.
just Aisha's personality. Maybe she finds herself connecting with people really quickly.
Mhm.
But I found that to be quite cringe, to be honest.
Mhm.
Maxwell's sisters are coming over, and Aisha doesn't care for Maxwell's sister Blaze. She says that Blaze is too nosy. She says that Blaze went through her entire Facebook history, through all of her Facebook
Yeah, that's a little bit
photos.
too nosy for me,
Um,
especially when you go through somebody's Facebook history like that.
well, Dustin, I have to say that with Aisha being with her brother, she wants to make sure that her brother is not with some crazy girl, not with some girl who's probably maybe clout chasing or trying to look
Right.
for clicks or views or things of that nature. So I think that Aisha may be putting a little bit of 20 on 10 with this. Like, I think Blaze is just doing her due diligence to get some kind of background on this girl that's with her brother. I do understand. Aisha may see it as her being nosy, but I see it as her just looking out for her
Being
brother's best
protective.
interests.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And I
Yeah.
think that Aisha is kind of exaggerating just a little bit on
Mhm.
what Blaze has been doing as far
Well,
as
I think
being.
she's been doing that this whole entire season so far. So.
Exactly. Aisha has been doing that this entire season, exaggerating everything about her entire storyline on this season of 90 Day Fiance. So the family sits down for dinner, and Maxwell's sister is asking her about this chemical peel that she had Maxwell get. And so Maxwell goes on to show them pictures of the results of this chemical peel. And I did not realize how bad Maxwell's acne was. Maxwell's acne was really, really bad. And to be
Yeah.
honest, like when I've seen people from Africa, I don't typically see them with any acne. So I wonder what might have brought this on. But it's clear that the chemical peel worked. And then they go on to talk about the white in his eyes. And
Mhm.
Aisha wants him to get that fixed as well. And I have noticed that about some people from Africa, is that the white in their eyes is not necessarily as white as those of us in America. And apparently that has something to do with sun exposure to the sun.
Mhm.
And Aisha wants to get that fixed too. And
Mhm.
Maxwell's family is taken aback by this a little bit. And then Maxwell's sister asked her, well, how many kids do you want? And Aisha, she kind of hesitates initially, and then she just throws the number two out there.
Mhm.
Maxwell's mother and father are not happy with this answer. And
No, they're
they're
not.
like, oh, that's not enough. We'd be more comfortable with four. And Aisha says, well, I mean, I don't think that that's what God has in store for us. And we get back to this whole thing of Aisha putting everything on God. And I see that as an excuse for you to
It
not
is on
put things
Steve.
on yourself, and you can put it on a greater entity and make it seem as though this is a message from on high, not a message from me. And I don't like that whatsoever. I don't like it at all. Like, just say that that's what you want. You only want two kids. And if you want more kids, well, then ask your daughters to have some babies. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I get in African tradition, the first son, he is his parents' first son, firstborn child. So he's looked at as the prize child, as the, I don't want to say the most important child, but he is an important child in the family. And Aisha, she's not reacting too well to his parents' expectations. And I'd like to see how this develops as time goes on. This didn't go as bad as I thought it was going to go when I saw the preview. However, Aisha's wants to get what she wants,
Mhm.
and she wants to get what she wants at any cost, and that's concerning to me. That is a red flag to me. And Maxwell seems to be so even keeled, so laid back. He just sort of kind
Mhm.
of goes along to get along. And I don't know if that's the best thing for him personally, to have someone just sort of kind of pushing you around. I don't like seeing
Well, to
that
be
in a
honest with you,
relationship.
Jonathan, I see a lot of red flags with Asia on this whole third season. So I see a lot of red flags with Asia, but that's just me. Hmm.
What are some of the red flags that you're seeing with Aisha?
I don't like the way she's handling this. I think she's really controlling with him. I think she's
Hmm.
like the skin thing. You don't have to be. He's an adult. But you're not treating him like you're an adult. You're treating him like he's your kid, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Hmm.
He's an adult. So are you. He's not telling you what to do, so you should be telling him what to do.
Yeah.
It's just a red flag for me. The whole thing is a red flag. But I could hope and pray for him to get better. But I don't know if it's going to happen or not.
Yeah, I don't see Maxwell leaving Aisha for any reason. I do think that he is in love with her. I think that he's happy that he was able to pull an American girl, and I think he sees that as a victory for himself. But I don't want him to get lost in the fact that he has gotten with a girl from America and she's going to give him a better life. I don't want him to get into that rut because I think he might end up regretting the decision to get with Aisha to begin with. But
Mm.
we'll see what happens as time goes on. The thing is, I don't see Aisha changing or letting up at all in what she wants for Maxwell and what she wants to do to make Maxwell a better person externally, not on the inside, but externally, trying to change his skin, trying to change his hairline, trying to change his eyes, the white in his eyes. Like, it's a whole lot that she wants to have changed. And once again, my thing is, if he wasn't what you
That's too
wanted when
much
you,
for me.
yeah, it is.
That's
It
too
is
much
quite
for
a
me.
bit. If you
Mm.
if he wasn't what you wanted when you initially met him, then why are you still with him? It doesn't make any sense. We got some comments in the comment section. Auntie Robin is here. Hey, Auntie Robin.
And the Robin.
Auntie Robin says hi, guys. And then
Hi.
Auntie Robin also says, "Time and Judge Judy got me in got me in a trance, and I lost track of time. What I missed." We talked about four of the couples already, Auntie Robin, but it was only the couples that really didn't have much going on this particular episode. We only have two more couples to talk about before we end the show. And then Auntie Robin also says down in the comments, no, Auntie Robin says probably means that the show is almost over. Yeah, it is almost over, Auntie Robin. I'm so sorry because like four or five of the couples really didn't have to have much to do on this episode, and because you weren't in the comments, I didn't have to read much, so we're kind of getting through this pretty quickly. But we did talk about. Let me go back
Mm-hmm.
to my notes. We've already talked about Raj and Mallory. We've already talked about Shay and Annabelle, Paula and Thomas, as well as Debbie and Mito. So if you have any comments on those couples, feel free to put them in the comment section as we move on. But yeah, I I just don't like what I'm seeing with Aisha. I just
I
don't. I
don't
just
either.
don't like seeing that. But, anyways, let's move on to Edward and Marissa. So Edward
Okay.
finally meets Marissa's parents. He also meets Marissa's sister and Marissa's cousin and their spouses. I was dreading seeing this. I was
So
dreading
was
seeing him
I.
meet Marissa's parents, but it went so much better than I thought it would.
I
And
did.
I have to say that I truly do love Marissa's mother. Marissa's mother is a realist. Marissa's mother sees the situation, she analyzes it, she gives her opinion, and then she lets the people she gives her opinion to decide whatever it is they want to do with what she has to say. So I love Marissa's mother. And I also have to point this out. I found it very interesting that Marissa's mother looked a little bit younger than Marissa. I don't know what that means. I don't know if Marissa's mother's had some plastic surgery. I don't know. I don't know if Marissa doesn't believe in plastic surgery, because to me it doesn't look like Marissa's necessarily had anything done. To be honest, but that's just my opinion. I don't know a lot about plastic surgery. I'm not an expert on it, but I'm just saying what I see. But Marissa's parents and her family is really nice to Edward. They're not, treating him like a second class citizen. They're asking him, valid questions. Marissa's mother asked Edward, why is it that he's chosen to be with Marissa, and what is it about Marissa that makes him want to be with her? Auntie Robin says down in the comments, Marissa continues to recall to reseal herself. She doesn't think Edward's good enough for her. All all we hear from her is what is wrong and unacceptable about him. Yeah, that is very true. We don't hear any good things about Edward coming from Marissa, which I think is a problem as well, Auntie Robin. And I was going to say I hope that gets better as time goes on, but I definitely don't expect that to get better as
Mm.
time goes on. Auntie Robin also says down in the comments, I agree. The mom looks younger and better for sure than Marissa. Also, the mom doesn't have a horrible weave. Yeah, Marissa's hair has been getting on my last good nerve as long as I've been seeing her on this show. I don't know. It just doesn't look well done at all. But the answer that Edward gave to Marissa's mother about why he wanted to be with Marissa, he said he wants someone who is faithful and is loyal. And he said that he never met anyone who had those qualities until he met Marissa. And Marissa's response to that was, I thought he was going to say that he loves my heart, he loves my personality, the personal things about me. And I guess I understand her reaction to what he said, but it seemed as though initially he was stumbling over his words initially. But again, English is his second language, so I'm not expecting him to have perfect English. But I liked his response to Marissa's mother's question. I thought that was a decent response what he said to her. Um, let's see. Auntie Robin's got another comment down here. Let's see. Auntie Robin also says she complained about how Edward answered questions. Yeah, I just mentioned that. Never mind that. Never mind that he was being honest. Yes, he was being very honest. I felt like he was being very honest as well, Auntie Robin. I don't think Edward will ever be good enough for Marissa, and I hope that Edward comes to see that eventually. Auntie Robin also says, I also don't like her saying things like he is like having another child. Yeah, I don't like her saying that either. Although it does seem to ring true when we do see Edward, and he seems to be so excited about being in this big mansion and having access to things that he hasn't had access to before. So it definitely does look like that on the exterior, but that doesn't make it right, at least for me, for Marissa to act like that and to speak on that verbally as well. So it seems like Edward is past the test, at least from the outside looking in. Um,
Mhm.
his family, at least they didn't voice any concerns specifically as to why they think Marissa and Edward would not work out. So they seem to be on good terms, even though Marissa's father was making some faces when Edward, when Edward was asking everyone if they're Italian, and Marissa's father apparently is not Italian, and Edward made the joke that maybe he's Dominican, and then he was like, maybe you're a brother from a different mother, and Marissa's father didn't have the best reaction to that. I'm assuming that he doesn't necessarily care for Edward from those looks that he was giving. I don't know, but I'm glad that he didn't voice his opinion out loud. Auntie Robin also says, I can appreciate him expressing wonder at things he hasn't been exposed to before, before a before the big house, uh, or the BMW. Yeah, I think that's what the reaction is, but I don't think that's the reason why Marissa is saying that she feels like she has another child with Edward. I don't think that's the reason why she's saying that. But I can understand some others seeing that as well. Auntie Robin
Mhm.
also says, "What did you think of Marissa telling Edward to give her the seat in the kitchen?" I'm so glad that you brought that up, Auntie Robin. That's
Mhm.
Marissa. That's Marissa acting like a parent again. That's Marissa using her power over Edward again. Um, that's Marissa saying that she's teaching Edward as well. That's Marissa getting something out of pulling this Dominican boy out of his country, bringing him over to America, and having him as her plaything. That's what it seems like she's treating Edward as, just a little plaything. I don't think that Marissa is genuinely in love with Edward. She hasn't really said a lot of affirming words about Edward since the first episode. Because in the first episode you're explaining who you're with, you're saying all the good things about them. But since that episode, she's had nothing but criticism for Edward since then. Once again, I thought the meeting with the parents went well. I thought it went fine without a hitch. There was no really real blow ups. Edward answered all the questions he was asked. I think in a good manner, at least in my opinion. So, Dustin, how did you think that this whole meeting with Marissa's parents went for Edward?
I thought it went very well, but I do think that he needs a lot of growing up to do. He needs a lot of change. He needs a lot of growing up to do, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm just saying that he needs a lot of changes to make. He um, needs to help her a lot more, in my personal opinion. And that's okay if a lot of people does not a lot of people don't agree with it, because this is my opinion. So, and I think that he needs a lot of growing up to do, and I hope that he understands that she needs a lot of help. She has two kids, and then she also has a major job that she has to handle. So,
Hmm.
she runs a major bridal bridal store in New York, and I don't think he understands how much help that she really needs from him.
Yeah, that is what it seems like. I do think that he does have some growing up to do, but I think that just means that he doesn't need to be with a 50-something-year-old woman. I think he needs to be with someone his own age.
Sure.
That he can, be more open about and more free to
Sure.
do whatever it is that he wants to do. Auntie
Yeah.
Robin also says she will soon treat him like an absolute servant. That's what I'm nervous about, Auntie Robin, is her treating him like her treating
Well, in
him
my
like a
opinion, she
slave.
already does.
In a
I
way,
think.
she already does. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Auntie Robin goes on to say, I don't like it or her. I don't like Marissa either, Auntie Robin. When I tell you
Well,
that
I don't
every
like. I don't. And if I can interject, Jonathan, I
Mhm.
seen a video that she posted on Instagram earlier today, and I didn't like the video she posted. So, if I can find it, I will send it to you, and you can give me your opinion on it. I
Okay.
don't. I did not like the video that she posted. I thought it was pretty disrespectful towards him, in my
Yikes.
opinion.
Oh my gosh. Auntie Robin also says Marissa probably isn't in love with Edward as much as she is in love with the fact that somebody wants her. Yeah, that's what it seems like. I think she might be, because someone found her attractive. I think she just grabbed onto it. She's holding onto it for dear life. But yeah, Marissa's just something else. I just don't like her whatsoever. I love her mother though. That's the thing. Like I love her mother. I love her mother. Now, Marissa might be a little bit like her mother. Maybe her mother just decided not to show us that side of herself. But I do like her mother. I do. But let's move on to our last couple, Katie and Josh. So Katie and Josh, they've got a chair. That's one piece of furniture that they have. I don't know if it's new or not, but they've got a chair. And then Katie goes on to, they have the discussion once again about money. And then Katie goes on to say that it is her birthday and she's having a birthday party and she's inviting a former fling
Yeah.
to her birthday party that Josh does not care for. And Katie says all this with a smile, which is the most irritating thing for me to watch.
I don't like Katie, so that's just my. I don't like Katie at all. So that's my.
Yeah, I don't like Katie either, Dustin. I just don't care for her whatsoever. Whatsoever. I don't like seeing her. And just like Marissa smiles all the time during her scenes, Katie is smiling a whole lot during her scenes as well, in moments that
Yeah.
are, I think, inappropriate for a smile to be had. So Katie goes on to say that she's invited this guy that she used to be involved with. His name is Ryan, and Josh does not like him. And apparently, Josh has been in the presence of Ryan before. Apparently, they were all in Germany together while she was doing the Berlin Marathon, and apparently they allude to the fact that they had sex while they were in Germany. While Katie was apparently in a relationship with Josh, they didn't necessarily say outright that Katie cheated on Josh with Ryan. They didn't say that, and apparently Josh does not know that she has had sex with Ryan. So I don't know if this is going to come out, how this is going to come out. It's
I
got to
think it's
come
gonna
out.
come. I think it's gonna come out later in the season.
Yeah, anytime that something like this is brought to the forefront to us as the viewers, it has to come to the surface with the other partner. So I don't know how Josh is going to react to this. But anyways, when Katie tells Josh that she invited Ryan, Josh's reaction, of course, I'm glad that Josh really doesn't blow up or yell at Katie. But sometimes I wish that he would, to be honest, because Katie clearly is not taking any of Josh's feelings into consideration whatsoever. Katie just does what she wants to do when she wants to do it. If you care about it or not, she doesn't care because as long as she gets what she wants, that's all that matters. So they get to the party. You know, Ryan gets there. He gives Katie her present. Katie has a beer in her hand. She's drinking beer. She's throwing them back. She's telling people that she wants more drinks. And I think this further lets us know, as Auntie Robin pointed out in previous reviews, that Katie seems like she might be an alcoholic, even though we haven't seen her, fully drunk on the show just yet. We saw in the preview for the next episode that Katie gets really close with Ryan in the club, or in the bar rather. She's got her arms around his neck, and she's telling him that she wants to kiss him. And Josh goes on to walk out of the bar. But before we get to what we saw in the preview, Josh, Katie, and Ryan go outside, and Josh asks Ryan why is he there. And Ryan says, well, he wanted to come out with a friend, and he just wanted to have a good time and support her on her birthday and things of that nature. Josh clearly does not care for Ryan whatsoever, which I don't blame Josh, because I think Josh internally, I feel as though Josh truly does know or understand that Katie and Ryan have had sex before. And he just doesn't want to admit it or ask Katie outright. I don't know why he wouldn't want to ask her, or maybe he just does not want to, just doesn't want to hear the truth coming from Katie. Auntie Robin says Katie's behavior is atrocious. Uh, yes, it is very atrocious. Again, Katie clearly doesn't care about Josh. She doesn't care about him whatsoever. Whatsoever, she does not care about him at all. I'm glad that things didn't get physical or out of hand between Josh and Ryan. I don't know if it'll ever get there, and I hope that it doesn't get there, because Josh does not need to be upset with Ryan. Josh needs to be upset with the woman that he is engaged to, which is Katie. So Katie's clearly not going to change. Once again, I've said it multiple times during this review and in previous reviews. Katie just does not care about Josh. She doesn't care about him at all. I think she she might be in need of therapy, and she might need to be
She definitely
diagnosed.
needs therapy. I can give you that, Johnson. She
Yeah,
definitely needs therapy.
for sure. And I think there's another diagnosis that needs to happen with Katie. Auntie Robin also says Katie's complaints are ridiculous for sure. She said she doesn't like living with others. Right. So if you don't like living with others, why would you invite another person to come live
Why
with
would
you?
you get married? Man?
It makes no sense whatsoever. And then I'm so glad that Josh brought this up. Josh brings up the fact that he feels uncomfortable with Ryan being in their space, and then he says to Katie, "How would you feel if I brought some random woman around you that you didn't like? How would you feel about that?" Katie said, "You know, I wouldn't like it at all. I wouldn't like it whatsoever. Not
Well, then
whatsoever.
why
I
does
wouldn't
Katie
like
have a
it."
problem? Then why does Katie have a problem when Josh brings it up that he don't like him?
Right. And then Katie goes on to say, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. And Josh says, well, you sound exactly like that. So Katie understands that why Josh wouldn't like it, because she wouldn't like it if the roles were reversed. So Katie
Right.
just clearly just doesn't care about Josh whatsoever. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
She
Dustin,
showed
what are your
she
thoughts on Josh and Katie altogether?
she showed that to me last episode when she didn't care about his back pain. She didn't care about his comfortable him being comfortable. Especially when he brought up some stuff about the furniture. She showed the true colors to me. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
take this now
I'm
and
honestly
then
done with
that
Josh
one
and Katie.
tomorrow.
I love Josh. I love him on the show. He seems like a really, really sweet guy. And I hope that eventually he will go on to meet a woman that will appreciate him and respect his wishes, and respect the things that he wants in a relationship, and not ignore the red flags that he brings up to his partner, because Katie clearly cares nothing about Josh. And it's so sad to see on the show. And I hope when it comes to the tell all that the women hold hold Katie's feet to the fire and how she has treated Josh this entire season, because it's
Well, I heard that they are
ridiculous.
film. I heard that they are filming the tell-all right now. So
Okay,
you
all
know
right. So we'll
that's a,
see that when it comes up. So that's all we've
right.
got for this review, you guys. Dustin, before you give your social media contacts, we got another comment from Auntie Robin, and then we will get on out of here. Auntie Robin also says, "I'm not sure that Josh really loves Katie either." Yeah, it doesn't seem like that. Dustin, why don't you give the people your social media contacts real quick before we get out of here?
My social media contacts are Dustin Butler 700 on Instagram. My Facebook is Dustin Butler. As my TikTok with Dustin Butler 24. As always, I want to thank Jonathan and my whole entire team for being here. Love you all very much, and I will always be here for y'all. So if you guys need anything, you know where I'm at. So you got a way to kind of hold of me. I will see you guys next week on Monday, and I will see you guys on Male Vibrations on Wednesday. So I will be here next on Monday, and I will see you guys on Tyrone Show on Wednesday as well
Awesome.
as well as I love you all. I love you, Jonathan, very much, and I love Jennifer and Tyrone as well. So yeah, please give my thanks to Jennifer, because I really do, I miss Jennifer. I hope I can talk to her soon. You know, I miss Jennifer a lot, so hopefully I can hopefully get to talk to her here pretty soon, because I do have some things I want to talk about with her, because I want to get her opinion on some things. So I do want to possibly have her opinion on some things in the future.
All right, absolutely. It'd probably be best to hit her, if you don't have her phone number, to hit her up on Instagram. She'll probably get back to you the quickest there, or on TikTok. She's always on TikTok. So if you message her on TikTok, I'm sure she'll get back to you really
All right,
quickly.
thank you.
You're very welcome. And I love you too, Dustin. Auntie Robin
Love you.
finally says he can't love himself very much to accept how Katie treats him. Yeah, he clearly doesn't think that highly of himself. He's not the, a model looking guy. He's just, a regular looking guy. So maybe he doesn't think that highly of himself. Who knows? But anyways, you guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is jojo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is williamjonathanlee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $Jonathan Lee07. That's $JONATHANLEE07. I want to thank you all so much for joining myself and Dustin for this review. Thank you, Auntie Robin, for being down in the comments with us. I love you so much for being here every single week. It means the world to me, Auntie Robin. I love you so much. You guys be on the lookout for my review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. That will be released tomorrow before the end of the day. So be on the lookout
Yes.
for that.
I'm
And
getting
also,
pretty interested in the Real Housewives of Atlanta so far, but the season has been a train wreck. In my opinion. It's been ups and downs, turby season.
definitely been some ups and downs. I enjoyed the first 3 episodes, but since then, I really have not been enjoying the show that much. And I don't expect for things to improve as time goes on. But you never know. Who knows? We'll see as time goes on. Be sure to join me every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my live hot topics and social commentary show. I go live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. with my sister Prophetic Fire Reiki, as well as our friend Bianca Edwards. We always have a great time talking about the latest happenings and goings on in the world. So join us every Thursday night at 8 p.m. And also be sure to join us next week, same time, same place, same beautiful faces next Monday for our 90 Day Fiance review for episode 8. Love you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.